Good morning, St. Augustine. Your access to the voices of top local newsmakers starts now. Here's your host, Liz Ryan.
Good morning, and thank you for tuning in today. I have a very interesting guest. It's Christopher Stewart, who is a firefighter for St. Johns County Fire Rescue. Good morning, Christopher.
Good morning. How are you?
I'm terrific. Thank you for taking the time to chat with me this morning.
Of course. Thanks for having me.
First of all, a little bit about you, Christopher, before we start talking about the Kingfish Challenge. You grew up in St. Augustine, right? Did you always want to be a firefighter here?
I did grow up in St. Augustine. I did. I mean, I think around the time I was in high school is when it hit me that I wanted to do something to, be able to help the community as well as I always was big into sports and being on a team. So the fire department really still has that. You have a good brotherhood and camaraderie. So I really liked that about the fire department. So I thought it was a good fit. So I went ahead and took the steps I needed to go to the fire academy and EMT and paramedic school, and I was fortunate enough to get a job with St. Johns County.
That's a tough job, isn't it, firefighter?
It is. It's tough, but it's also very rewarding, and I wouldn't trade it for the world.
And you have to know about a whole bunch of different things, not just putting out fires, right, but first aid, and what else do you have to know to be a firefighter? Yeah,
so fire, obviously, and then we do motor vehicle accidents, medical calls, smoke detectors, fire alarms, anything you can think of. If you have a problem and someone calls 911, that's one of the coolest parts of the job is we kind of figure it out. Even if we don't know, we normally will find a way to figure it out and alleviate the situation.
And I bet another cool part of the job is being able to slide down the pole.
I wish. We actually don't have any here in St. Johns County. The city of St. Augustine does, but we don't currently have any in our stations.
Oh, do you have a Dalmatian, though?
We do not have a Dalmatian either. We got maybe some stray cats wandering around, but no Dalmatian for us.
Speaking of cats, Christopher, do you really rescue cats out of trees, or is that a myth?
No, it does happen. It's not like you see on TV, but we actually do go to it occasionally.
What's the hardest part about being a firefighter?
To me, the hardest part is being gone. We work 24-hour shifts, so it's physically demanding as also mentally, just being away from your family for 24 hours is the toughest part for me. I
would imagine having to wear those heavy uniforms and carry that heavy equipment, and when not only is it hot out in general here, but then you're near fire, and that must be really, really challenging.
Yeah, it is challenging. We try to work out a bunch and prepare ourselves for that. So I'd say most of us do a good job keeping ourselves physically fit and ready for the job.
Are firefighters often at risk for heat exhaustion?
Oh yes, most definitely. Like you said, definitely this time of year too, when it's already 100 degrees outside, and then you go inside a burning building and have all the gear on it. It's super hot. You definitely got to hydrate, and you have to stay up with your physical fitness, or you will not be able to keep up.
Is that something you can build up a tolerance to?
It is, yes, ma'am. We try to train in our gear as much as possible. Guys at our station put their gear on every day, so definitely the more you're in it, the more you get used to it for sure.
I'll bet your family worries about you.
They do, but they know I'm going to do everything I can to stay safe and make sure that all is well.
It's a very dangerous job, Christopher, and is occasionally a fatality. Tell me about the memorial wall that's being built.
Yep. So the memorial wall is something that our department came up with. We wanted to have a place, it's kind of a fire service tradition across the nation and even across the world, but somewhere people can go to honor the fallen brothers and sisters in the fire service. So a couple years ago, Chris Naff, who works with us, I think he kind of spearheaded the project of wanting to build a memorial wall, and that's kind of where we came into play as far as the Kingfish tournament. We tried to think of ways to do some fundraiser events, which there was multiple fundraiser events that were successful. And then we, being in St. Augustine, I've always grown up on the water and loved the fishing thing. And myself and Bradley Cooper, the other guy helping with the tournament, thought about doing a Kingfish tournament, just kind of spitballing ideas, and we kind of ran with it. And it took off pretty fast and got a lot bigger than we expected. But we're very fortunate. It was a very successful event, and all of our proceeds last year went towards the memorial wall. We raised, I think, right at $66,000 to go towards the memorial wall.
What were some of the biggest fish caught last year?
So the winning fish was 30 pounds, which is actually kind of a smaller fish in most of the kingfish tournaments in the area. But we were dealt with not the greatest fishing, but it was, everyone still had a good time. 30-pound fish won. Multiple fish weighed. Multiple people did catch kingfish, but nothing giant last year.
Where was the winning fish caught?
I believe it was caught somewhere south of Daytona. Not exactly sure, but somewhere around the Daytona area, just south of Daytona.
You're listening to Good Morning St. Augustine. I'm your host, Liz Ryan, chatting this morning with firefighter Christopher Stewart. So the Kingfish Challenge this year benefits 3 different charities, Christopher. First, tell me a little bit about the Tanner Gillespie Foundation.
Yes, ma'am. So the Tanner Gillespie, he was a young Jacksonville fireman. He was killed in a off-duty auto accident. So we're going to be, the Tanner Gillespie Foundation sends high school graduates to the fire academy. So some of our proceeds will be going to that foundation to help support high school seniors go to the fire academy.
What's the fire academy like?
It's about 2 to 3 months long now. It's depending on the time of year you go. It can be very hot. They do a summer class. They also do winter classes, night classes. It's all through First Coast Technical College. That's where our local fire academy is. Do
the students learn by putting out actual fires? And if so, where are those fires?
Yep, so they do. They have what they call live burns. So those take place at First Coast Technical College. At the campus there, they have a full drilled tower. They have burn buildings. So they do all kind of realistic, real-life fires that they'll prepare them for.
What's a burn building?
It's just where they do a controlled burn for students to go in and feel the heat and feel what it's like to experience, what you're going to see in a real-life fire.
Is it a building that never really burns down because it's made of a concrete or something so you can use it again and again?
Correct. It's a concrete building, and they get it up to, upwards of 700, 800, 900 degrees in there.
Mm-hmm. The students find out how really hard it is to be a firefighter in real time, right?
Yep.
The other charity that is benefiting from the Kingfish Tournament is the Horseplay Therapy Center. Tell me about that, Christopher.
Yep. So Horseplay is off 207, and they provide mental health utilizing horses for military members and first responders.
And that's very helpful, I imagine.
Yes, it is. So we're looking forward to helping them and supporting them this year.
Mm-hmm. And Diamond of Dreams, too, which is Kendall Hardwick's brainchild.
Yep, Diamond of Dreams. So they did a boxing match earlier in the year, Firefighters vs. Cops boxing match at the amphitheater. And I know some of the proceeds from that went to Diamond of Dreams. And we reached out to Kendall and Sheriff Hardwick, and, we wanted to support Diamond of Dreams. So we're looking forward to being able to help them as well this year.
And that's a ball field for people with all different abilities.
Yes, yep. It's going to be young adults with special needs opportunity to play baseball on a handicap-accessible baseball field.
Kendall is working so hard, and the whole team is working on getting the Diamond of Dreams up and running, and it's going to bring so much joy to so many people.
Yes, it is.
And where is the Diamond of Dreams going to be?
So they're looking at putting it on Allen D. Niche Road out near the landfill off State Road 207.
So the tournament is over the 4th of July weekend, right?
It is, yes, ma'am. July 3rd at 6 p.m. at the Tringali Barn will be our captain's meeting. Nothing on July 4th, obviously, because of the holidays. We're going to let people hang out with their family and do their thing on July 4th. July 5th will be the fishing day, starting at 7 a.m., so the fishing hours will be 7 a.m. to 6 p.m., and then July 6th, Sunday, will be our award ceremony and family fun day at the Tringali Barn.
Tell me about the Tringali Barn. I've heard a lot about it, Christopher, but I've never been there. Can you describe it for me?
Yeah, it's beautiful. It's down on the south end of St. Johns County off US 1. He's got a really great setup there. He does a lot of weddings, a lot of venues. It's just a beautiful place, and it is really beneficial for us. Plenty of parking, plenty of space. So it really works out for us being able to, host the weigh-in there and be able to weigh our fish and hosting the award ceremony.
And Chris Shee owns the Tringali Barn. Is he donating this for the Fired Up Kingfish Challenge?
He is, yeah. This is the second year in a row now that he's reached out and been more than helpful on anything we've needed.
He is one of the most generous people I've ever met.
He really is. He's class act for sure.
So tell me more about the award ceremony on the 6th.
Yep, so the award ceremony, so it's going to start with the weigh-in at 8 a.m., which we did push that. So last year we started our weigh-in about 11 a.m. It was super hot, so this year we wanted to try to avoid the heat a little bit. So we're going to start our weigh-in at 8 a.m. It's going to run from about 8 a.m. to 10 a.m., and then our award ceremony hopefully will be starting about 11 a.m. At the awards, we'll be giving away prizes for the top 10 finishers of the tournament. We'll also be giving away top 2 lady angler prizes and top 5 junior angler prizes.
What are the prizes going to be, Christopher?
Yep. So 1st through 10th in the general tournament is going to be cash prizes, which that'll all be based on the number of boats we end up getting registered for the tournament. Top 2 lady anglers are going to be $1,000 for the first place lady angler and $500 for the second place lady angler. And then our top 5 junior anglers will receive rods and reel combos and some gift cards from Fish Bites Trading Post, who's a local tackle shop in town, and they're actually our presenting sponsor this year, Fish Bites.
All right, that sounds like fun. And the fishing day is the previous day, July 5th. Tell me about that, Christopher.
It's a beach tournament, 3-mile east boundary, so you can't go more offshore than 3 miles. You got to stay within the 3-mile boundary. We do not have a north or south boundary, so if you want to fish up in Jacksonville or Fernandina, St. Augustine, Daytona, anywhere along the East Coast, we don't regulate a north or south boundary, just the 3-mile east boundary. Fishing will begin at 7 a.m., and then, like I said, fishing will end at 6 p.m. And every boat will have a boat number, so we print out boat numbers, so every registered boat will have a official boat number. So whenever you catch your kingfish, you'll take a picture with the kingfish and your boat number with the beach in the background, and that's how we verify, nobody's cheating.
And then what happens when they catch the fish? They bring them in and they get weighed and measured?
Yep, they get weighed the following day at the weigh-in on Sunday, July 6th.
Oh, okay. So they catch the fish, they take a picture of themselves with it, so that's proof that they caught this fish on their own boat, and then they bring it in and have it weighed and measured. Where do they have it weighed and measured?
We do that at the Tringali Barn.
Oh, at the Tringali Barn. Okay.
Yep.
And there's some kind of storage for the fish, like ice
there
or
is.
something?
They have a fish truck through the Beacon Fisheries, St. Augustine Fish House, and we collect all the fish, and all the fish actually are able to go to either we sell them for profit for the tournament, or we can donate them, and they can be used for people to eat or all sorts of things.
And it has to be kingfish.
Yep, this is a king mackerel tournament only, so kingfish is the only thing we're targeting is kingfish.
I don't know much about fishing, Christopher, so bear with me. So how do you catch a certain kind of fish when you're out on your boat? Is it a certain kind of bait you use that attracts certain fish?
Yep, yeah, bait has a lot to do with it. Your techniques have a lot to do with it, but that's the one cool thing about, or the one of many cool things about kingfishing, but you don't have to go very far. You can catch them right off the beach. You're able to see the beach. You're only in about 40, 50 feet of water. Bait is typically easy this time of year. Catching, you can throw the cast net one time and catch all the pogies you need. Guys can catch threadfin herring or ribbon fish. There's mullet, assortment of different baits people use to target kingfish.
What if somebody wants to participate in this tournament, but they don't have a boat right now?
So we were working on that this year. We never really did come up with I wanted to find a way to have it to where there was a list of people who wanted to participate, but maybe didn't have a boat. But we don't have anything lined up for the fishing. But the one thing I can tell people, if you want to participate and you don't have a boat, you can always come out to the captain's meeting. We have Cholula Band coming out on Thursday night to play. And we do have some raffles. We're going to be doing face painting and slushies on Sunday. So there are other ways to participate even if you're not able to fish.
Oh, fun. You're having a band July 3rd. That's terrific.
Yep, so that'll be our registration and captain's meeting on Thursday night. And we're also having a live band, and we'll have a ton of fun Thursday night.
And that's at the Tringali Barn?
Yes, ma'am, correct.
Christopher, do you want to give a shout-out to some of your sponsors?
Yeah, of course. So like I said earlier, Fish Bites was grateful enough to come out and be our presenting sponsor this year. We also have Chris Shee with the Shee family, who's one of our biggest sponsors since this whole thing started last year when we came to him and told him the idea of doing this Kingfish tournament. He was on board from word go, so we can't thank Chris enough. Kluke and T-Bolt has been an awesome sponsor, again, since day one. They were one of the originals. Bill Miller, Caldwell Banker, Hook Ya. We have so many sponsors. They're all listed on our website, and really can't thank these sponsors enough. I mean, without them, none of this is possible. So really grateful for our sponsors. Caterpillar, Ring Power Cat. The list goes on. I mean, we have so many, it would take me a while. But we can't say thank you enough to all our sponsors.
People really love to sponsor the Fired Up Kingfish Challenge, don't they?
Oh, they do.
What does a sponsorship entail? What do they get?
So it depends. We have different levels of sponsorship. So our top presenting level sponsor is a $25,000 sponsor package. And then it drops down in different increments, but depending on which level would determine what you get for a sponsorship.
Are you still accepting sponsors?
We are. We've already submitted all of our artwork for our banner and our T-shirts and all, so they wouldn't be included on that. But yes, we're always willing to accept sponsorships. How
can people find out more, Christopher, about the Fired Up Kingfish Challenge?
Yeah, so the best way to find out more information is go to our website, www.firedupkingfishtournament.com, and it tells you all about sponsorship information and about the tournament on our website.
You're listening to Good Morning St. Augustine. I'm chatting with Christopher Stewart, a firefighter for St. Johns County Fire Rescue. So let's recap the Fired Up Kingfish Challenge, Christopher. It starts on July 3rd, and that's the captain's meeting from 6 till 8. And what happens then?
Yep, so that's where everyone will come and collect their boat number, and they'll have the opportunity to pay any Calcuttas if they'd like to do Calcuttas, which are side bets within the tournament. And we'll have a live band playing, and free pizza as well by Carmelo's. Carmelo's was grateful enough to sponsor pizza, so we'll have some pizza from Carmelo's.
Oh, they have the best pizza. That's where we always get our pizza.
Yes.
Then on the 4th of July, everyone spends that with family and friends, and then it kicks back up on July 5th. That's the fishing day. And where does that begin and end?
Yep, so the fishing day will begin at 7 a.m., ends at 6 p.m., not really a certain area, like I said earlier. People can fish anywhere from, Fernandina to Cape Canaveral, Daytona, right here in St. Augustine. Talking to some people fishing the tournament, I think we'll have a pretty spread out fleet this year of guys all up and down the East Coast trying to catch the biggest kingfish.
Do you have any tips for catching a big kingfish?
Try hard, fish hard, and, it'll happen. You just got to stick it out.
What kind of bait do you use?
I like pogies, mullet, ribbon fish. Those are my three favorites.
And what kind of fishing pole do you have?
Can't go wrong with an old ugly stick with a Speedmaster, old school style.
And then on July 6th, it wraps up with the award ceremony and family fun day. Where and when is that?
Yep, so July 6th at the Tringali Barn on US 1 down in the southern end of St. Johns County. We're going to start our weigh-in. Weigh-in will be 8 a.m. to 10 a.m. Got to be in line. The end of the line will close at 10 a.m. And then our award ceremony will follow just after the weigh-in.
And how do folks sign up?
Yep, so you can sign up on our website, www.firedupkingfishtournament.com. If you go on our website, there's a box at the very top of the page that says register here, and it'll walk you through all the steps.
Well, I'm sure the Fired Up Kingfish Challenge is going to be a huge success again this year, and thank you for telling us all about it, Christopher.
Thank you very much. I appreciate you having me.
What do you think you'll do with the rest of your Sunday?
It's a good question. Probably just hang out with the wife and kids and take it easy and get ready for our event coming up.
All right. Thank you. Keep in touch, Christopher, okay?
Okay, thank you.
Thank you for listening to Good Morning St. Augustine. And remember, all of our programs can be downloaded as a podcast. Go to flaglerbroadcasting.com, click on the podcast page, and scroll down to Good Morning St. Augustine. Enjoy the rest of your day in our beautiful, ancient, historic city.